Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTbase.com. Welcome to a weekly COT review. Today we're going to be analyzing the 21st Commitments of Traders Report of 2020, as you can see over here. And as we always do, we will start off with the largest changes in commercials positions. But before I start the review, just a reminder for anybody who is new to COT analysis, we've got some very useful pages here on COT Base, some tutorial videos, really talking about the basics of the COT report and analysis. Of course, we have some very valuable written materials as well on COT, the COT report. So check that out if you are new to COT data. And back to the review, let's start off with the Kansas City Wheat, where we have a 47% change in commercials positions. You can see that change on the chart over there. Of course, it's no question, much greater change than average. One of the largest changes in the past 1 year. It is a bullish COT change signal suggesting after the weakness that we've been experiencing in this market for the past few weeks, we may see a bit of a rise, possibly early next week. If we move on to the 5-year chart, you can see that we are more or less in between the two extremes, a little bit closer to bullish extreme levels. But of course, you can maybe state that we are really in between the two extremes, just in the middle. Of course, if you look at the charts, you can see how well these COT extreme situations can pinpoint tops and bottoms in the market. As I said many times before, grains are one of the best markets that you can analyze from the COT report's perspective. Moving on, we're going to continue off with the Chicago wheat, because the wheat complex, it's something for our subscribers, where we basically combine the COT reports using the US dollar equivalent of the contracts. Here we have the Chicago wheat, back to the 1 year's chart, and we can witness that 22% change over there. A smaller change size, but again, greater than average, suggesting some strength in the market early next week. Of course, we're talking about correlating markets, so we're not surprised to see a very similar picture. And I can promise you that once we're going to be analyzing large speculator COT Extreme, we're going to find that in the Minneapolis Wheat, there is an all-time extreme over there. So very exciting review this week if you are trading the wheat markets. Moving on to the Brent Crude, where we have a 12% change in commercials positions. This, of course, is a bearish COT change signal. Nothing too unusual. If you look at the chart, we are more or less hovering around that average change size. Nevertheless, it can be considered a bit bearish. And coming after this rally that we've been witnessing the past few weeks, we would not be surprised to see a bit of a decline coming in this market. If we move on to the 5-year chart, you can see that actually we are still closer to bullish COT extreme levels, but you may see that back in December at that very significant bullish extreme level, the market actually tanked. So very different movement that one would expect from analyzing the COT report. But hey, that's part of the business, and of course not all COT extreme signals would be effective. So we should be expecting this move in traders' positions to start going into the opposite direction, meaning commercials increasing their net long positions and large speculators increasing their net short positions. And once we reach those levels, we can start talking about a shift in the trend. Moving on to large speculators COT Extreme, I promised to you to talk about the Minneapolis Wheat. Of course, there's an all-time COT Extreme over there in large speculators, and of course commercials are very close to their all-time as well. To be exact, they are at 1,244 report extreme. So there's no question that there's a bullish extreme in this market, and of course you may use that signal if you trade the Chicago wheat or the Kansas City wheat as well. This of course does not mean that we should expect a sudden rise in the price of this market. We've seen multiple examples in the past when the signal was effective, and you can see that the market reacted, but it didn't really change the major trend that has been basically downwards since July 2017, which, by the way, if you look at the chart over here, was very well signaled in the CO2 report. So a good example how well these reports can help you benefit, giving you a direction in the market. The next market will be the Swiss franc, where we have that 202 report extreme in large speculators. You can see that extreme over here on the charts. This, of course, is a bearish COT extreme, suggesting some weakness coming in the next couple of weeks, possibly month ahead of us. And if we move on to the Mexican peso, the last market for this review, here we can see a more bullish picture, which of course is, I would say, a good example for all of you forex traders, how you can benefit from the COT reports. Although they are coming on futures contracts, and of course these are measured in US dollars, if you analyze two separate markets, you may actually come to the conclusion, well, hey, maybe if we expect the Swiss franc to show some weakness in the near future and the Mexican peso to show some strength, then there could be some possibility with the two markets. So that's something you should keep in mind. We've got, of course, a very good video on that in our educational material where I talk about COT analysis and forex trading. So back to the Mexican peso. Here we have that extreme. You may see that actually we've witnessed a bit of a rise already. So this signal seems to be effective. We should not be surprised if this grows to even greater levels. You may see back from September of 2016, the example I'm showing to you right now, that we had much greater extremes. So that's just a warning to be cautious, because this extreme could widen to even greater levels before we reach a bottom in the markets, and that can be a couple more months or possibly even years before we reach that. So that's something you should keep in mind. Of course, these reviews are very short and brief, just giving you a glimpse of markets. There's many more to do here at COT Base. You can of course look at all the market categories available. You can look at new CO2 report types, other data types, our special options only data, which is very unique. We've got some other data sets available to analyze, and of course you can dig deeper in the CO2 reports by looking at multiple report changes on a defined look back period. You can analyze the COT index, the COT move index. You can go into volume and open interest analysis. We've got this long-term trend indicator, a fabulous tool. And of course you can always go back and analyze older reports. So a lot to do here at COT Base. Thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it, and I wish you a pleasant weekend. Take care and goodbye.